All right, guys, so we're going to create a another weave, but with a stone set in it as well. So with this technique, I'm going to be using three 18 gauge square wire. You can use round wire. Like I said, you can use what you have, but just make sure it's a strong wire, okay? So we're gonna cut 3 of these. So you have your 3 here, and actually depending on the stone, because it is pretty thick, we're going to do 4. So it all determines how large the stone is. So yeah, these ones are pretty wide, so I'm actually add another 1 because you want that back support. All right. So then you got your 4. Now we're going to be using a half round wire, and this one is a 16 gauge half round wire. So this one is on my Amazon list. You want to make it a little bit longer than, or the same size as the 18 gauge. We're just gonna need 2 of these to hold down our stones. So what's cool about half round wire is you can use either side. You can use the flat side or you can use the rounded side. For this one, we're just go with the rounded side because it looks a little more appealing to me. So you're gonna use that side there. So you got your 16 gauge half round wire and then 18 gauge square wire. My go-to, you guys already know, this 28 gauge wire. You could do 24, you know, anything that's easy, but it's a lot thinner, so it's easy to weave in between. So what we're gonna do is set the stones on that side there. So to start off, you want to, this is what I do, is wrap these together a few times. And then just make sure it's flat. You want to make sure it's flat. Anchor it down. All right. So you got that there. Boom. So then now what you would do is place your 2 half round wires up. You can just pinch it down with your thumb, and I'll kind of just put it in there so it stays in the same spot. So once it's there, grip it down, and then you're gonna wrap over both or all wires. And then this is just to get it started. So then press those in, press down with your pliers. And then you're gonna put both of the half round wires up like an L, as far as back as you can. And then you're going to wrap underneath the 18 gauge wire, like so. And you can do this probably like 10 to 12 times because it's really thin wire. So then you press it back towards the pliers, like so. Press that in, and then what you're gonna do is pull these back down and then clamp it down as you go and repeat the same thing. So this time you can go over, let's just say 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Press in, close to the pliers, and then clamp it down. Make the L again for the the top 2 of the half round wire. And then just straighten out your wire as you go too, as well. So then now we're ready for our first one, stone that we're going to use. So it's a pattern that we created. And then now what I like to do is to make sure these stay in place as well. I bend over one to the one side, and then same thing, and then go underneath. Same thing, go underneath, and then just clamp it down to give it a little bit more of an anchor. And a lot of the times, all of this stuff is going to be hidden, or you're going to attach to where you're only going to see this part of the wrapping. So then now what we're going to do is go over both wires, or all wires, a few times, like 6. Press back in. Let's do one more. Press back in. So this time what you're going to do is you're going to clamp down, make the L shape again, go all the way back as much as possible. I would say start with larger stones to get the practice down, then you can go smaller, because the smaller they are, the harder it is to kind of keep them all in place. But this is like almost like a 8 to a 10 millimeter. So then you're gonna hold the stone in place like so, and then bring the wire over, and you're gonna press down. So when it's like this here, you want to turn it there, because there's a gap. So you want it to have it close as possible to the wire. So then what you're gonna do is hold the stone, and then you're gonna press down with your pliers and hold that in place, okay? And then try to make sure it's kind of like in the middle, like so. And then you're gonna continue to wrap. So then you're gonna go all the way as close as possible without overlapping the wires. So like right there, I'll probably go one more, and then I'm going to go under and then over here. And again, I'm gonna press down. So then once that's done, I'm gonna flip it, hold the stone in place. It's okay if it pops out. It probably will pop out a few times. Just place it back in, and then wrap 6 to 7 times. And while you're doing that, you press in as well. And then repeat the same pattern. You're gonna go up with the L and go underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Press it back in, pull that back down. And what you're doing, because this stone is still going to come out, so then now what you would do is flip it again, press down with your pliers. You can use a tool. I prefer using your fingers if you can. If you cannot, you can use like a needle nose to one side of it to pop it open, like so. But it's a lot easier if you just use your fingernails to make sure the stone stays intact. And you just open up one side and keep the stone in there. Open up one side, open up one side, and what you're gonna do is clamp down there, and then do the same thing on the other side. Clamp down there, and then you just want to make sure that it can't pop out from this side or that side. So you just want to make sure it's even and it's good, you know, to where it's not gonna come out. So then now we're gonna continue to the next stone. So I'm gonna wrap probably 4 to 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press in. Probably do one more. And then I'm gonna clamp this down. You want it to be tight and close to the 18 gauge wire as possible. Then we're gonna lift the half round up again, back. Make sure those are all straight, not overlapping. Grab your next stone, place it there, hold it in place. Now you will hold the stone, pull these over, And like I said, this is going to take some time to get down and a lot of practice. But once you do, you'll get in your groove. So you hold it down there, flip, and clamp down like so. And then over. And you're pulling kind of tight as well on it. All right. So the main thing is to keep these intact is pressing this down here, but having enough tightness, I guess you could say, to where it's not going to keep pushing it that way. So that's why I do this a few times over on this side, then open it back up, go underneath, press it towards, pull it down. You gotta press it and hold it down. Open it up more on one side, open it up on this side, and press down. And that's why you want these to be pressed towards each other or towards the stone. Same thing with this one, towards the stone. And then just make sure it doesn't have any room to come out. And you're gonna keep continuing the same pattern. Press it in, underneath. So technically I put one in there between each one, so that's supposed to be one. So you can keep the same pattern. This one I switched it up, so because it's but you kind of want it to be off further. All right, then you would place your last stone in there. Same thing, just hold it, flip it down, and just make sure you have it centered where you want it to be. And then down. And just center it. Then same thing, I'm gonna press this down a little bit there. And go back to that side. And if the stone pops out, just press it back in there. Like I say, you want to get close as possible. Like so. And then go around the other side. Let those go in. Flip it so you can hold the stone in there. A little bit more strength in there. Boom. All right, press it down. So the same thing. Press it down there. Open it up. Open it up. And same thing, you want to Press this in on all sides. Cool. So now flip that back open and go underneath and continue your design. Up on both. Where's the other one? There we go. Spin. Back down. Spin. Up. Press it back down. Float. And then with this one, you will end it underneath the wrap, the 28 gauge underneath, and then anchor it to one of the wires there, and then cut. So then what I like to do, like I said, on this side too, to make sure this stays all in place, is to wrap around. So I would bring one to one side, bring one to another side, wrap it around, smash it down. You can have it go all the way around again if you want. Cut it to the back, cut it to the back. And that's what we have.